moderating the keynote segment of our symposium is Andi Rustani, Recruitment Director at Philo for Thought, who will open the keynote segment and introduce our speakers for today. Andi, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the warm introduction and for the efforts that went into organizing this event today, Chris. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the keynote section of our symposium. Today's topics will focus on professional and philanthropic leadership tactics and trends, specifically what makes a good leader who others trust and rely upon. We are honored to be joined by our keynote speaker, Mr. John Manos. But before we introduce Mr. Manos, it's a great pleasure for me to welcome Mr. Mike Manatos, who is offering the foreword to today's keynote address. Mr. Mike Manatos is the president of Manatos Manatos, executive director of the Washington Oxy Day Foundation, board member of several organizations, including the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Leadership 100, the National Hellenic Society, National Hellenic Student Association, the Project Mexico and St. Innocent Orphanage, and a member of the Archbishops National Council. Among his many other accomplishments, he has also served at the Georgetown University of Foreign Service Leadership Seminar to promote dialogues among emerging world leaders and is a supporter of several young professional initiatives. Mr. John Manos, our keynote honoree today, is the president of BankFinancial, past president of the Pan-Cretan Association of America, the United Hellenic Voters of America, and the parish council at St. Demetrios Greek Orthodox Church. Among his various philanthropic achievements, he also serves as an active member of the Leadership 100 Endowment Fund, the International Council of Shopping Centers, the National Association of Realtors, the Illinois Banking Association, the Mortgage Bankers Association, the Association of Licensed Architects, the NICAR, the AHEPA, and several other organizations. He is also the recipient of many awards and honors for his outstanding professional and philanthropic achievements. And today, because of the fine legacy you have set for the greater Hellenic community, Mr. Manos, Philo for Thought has collaborated with the New York State Assembly to present you with the Special Certificate of Excellence for your outstanding community outreach and continued support of the young professional community. Thank you and congratulations. I'm now going to pass the floor to Mr. Manatos. Welcome, Mr. Manatos.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to be with you all today. I was asked to speak today about what makes a good leader, one who others trust and rely upon. So I've got good and likely surprising news for you. You already know what makes a good leader because you're Greek, and we call it the Greek secret. Let me explain. For 3 generations and 85 years, my family has had the privilege of working with and getting to know some of the world's most respected leaders, presidents, prime ministers, popes, patriarchs, archbishops, senators, members, Nobel laureates, both Greek and non-Greek. And we've been able to see up close what makes a good leader. I'll give you one example of this that involves mentoring. The National Hellenic Society, of which I'm on the executive board that was mentioned, we have a program called Heritage America. And we bring together Greek American students with some of the most phenomenally successful Americans, Greek Americans, who either have worked or work in or with the federal government. Last year, we had online 44 speakers and 50 students, names that all of you will recognize: Stavridis, Tenet, Negroponte, Dukakis, Podesta, Stephanopoulos, Priebus, Sarbanes, Bilirakis, senior people at Now This, Spotify, Facebook, Georgetown Cupcakes. And if you take all of those secrets from those 44 speakers and boil them down to one, the most important leadership qualities can be described with one word: Philotimo. And this is the Greek secret. Now, what does that word mean? The Greek language is the only one with one word that describes such a complex array of virtues. It literally translates to the love of honor. But we at the Washington Oxy Day Foundation, which my father and I founded 10 years ago, wanted to really dig deep into this to try to explain what Philotimo means. So we interviewed 27 of the most prominent Greek Americans across the country and asked them, what does Philotimo mean to you? And there's a fabulous video out there. If you go online, you can find it. It's had over 1 million views, actually 500,000 in the first several days. And we say at the beginning of this video, All Greeks know what Philotimo means, even if they've never heard the word before. And here's why. Let me give you some examples of how these prominent Greek Americans describe the word Philotimo. What does it mean to them? Compassion, generosity, humility and pride, love of family, love of country, to give to others without asking for anything in return other than love and affection. Ultimately, it means what it is to live a good life. So those sound like probably many things that you all have heard growing up and value. Although I think the best definition of Philotimo is one that I used in a speech that I gave in Greece about 4 years ago. Many of you probably recall that when then Vice President Joe Biden came out of the administration, his first international trip was to Greece, to Athens. And in part because our family has known the Biden family for over 45 years, and we've seen him up close, I was honored to be asked to introduce then Vice President Biden at this conference in Athens. And I said that the best way to sum up this remarkable 40-plus year career of this man is that he lived a life of Filotimo. And the definition that I used of Filotimo is one that my good friend George Logathetis has used publicly at an Orchidea event. George was one of the founders of Concordia, so I used it in this speech. And let me read to you how George Logathetis brilliantly defined this complex term of Philotimo. And I would argue that these are the qualities that make the best leaders. They're not what you might expect. So listen, here's how George Logathetis defined Philotimo: duty, loyalty, integrity, honor, love, trust, faith, and perhaps most important of all, the pride in being decent. It means the strong have a duty to help the weak. It means we should have conviction in our values and principles. It means taking the high road and rising above pettiness and triviality. So the message I have for you today is to be a good leader, live a life of Philotimo. What is that? You already know from how you were raised as a Greek American. And if you forget, Google the words Greek secret and watch our short film on Philotimo and hear it from these people that you've seen across the newspapers and airwaves, very famous people who are proud Hellenes to talk about what Philotimo means to them. I would also encourage you to sign up for our Heritage America program. You get to be mentored by some of these people, and I can give Chris and the others the details on that. So now you'll have the pleasure of hearing from another person who lives a life of Philotimo. Today's honoree and keynote speaker, and our dear friend and fellow proud Cretan, John Manos. I've seen firsthand John's Philotimo, John's integrity, John's honor, John's love, John's faith, his pride in being decent, and John's conviction and Hellenic values and principles, qualities of a true leader. My family and I are proud to call John and his beautiful family, his wife Elena, his children Patricia, George, and Lainey, and their spouses and children, dear friends. So on behalf of the Manatos family, John, we say axios and congratulations, and thank you again.
Mike, incredible. So humbled, and I appreciate that introduction. Very kind introduction, very much. You, Laura, your mom, your dad, the whole family. It's incredible. Christos Anesti Chronia Pola, everyone, and good morning. I would like to begin by thanking Philo for Thought for the opportunity to speak with all of you today at the 2021 Spring Symposium. It's a true honor to be amongst the various professionals and philanthropic organizations, as well as the other honorees being celebrated today. Congratulations and thank you to the founding CEO, Chris Albudas, and her team for their hard work on putting on together this virtual event in these uncertain, trying times. I congratulate and thank Philo for Thought for their organization's work and for their goal to support young professionals achieve the next level of success in both their work and their life. For over 10 years, they have worked to empower young professionals through many different avenues. I am truly humbled to virtually be amongst you today. I immigrated to the United States with my parents at the age of 7 from a small village on the island of Crete. I very quickly observed and learned what being a Greek American was about. Greeks supporting other Greeks to establish themselves in this new land, the land of opportunity. It did not matter whether you where you were from, where you came from, or how old you were. Greeks supported other Greeks. The support came in all shapes and sizes. Whether it was finding a place to live, connecting someone with a job, being friends with the other Greek kids at school, or expanding your Greek social networks, Greeks supported each other. Research suggests that young adults who have just one person who believes in them are more likely to succeed in their job and in their life later on. Looking back, I realized that growing up, I didn't just have one person. I had my parents, my family, the Greek community I grew up in, and later on, my wife. It is our responsibility to carry on that legacy to Greek young professionals today. It took me a while, but I figured it out, that it became less about the destination and more about the journey. I had to constantly look for and capture every opportunity that came my way. As I explained to my children, you had to be hungry. You have to be hungry. Hungry for the next experience, hungry for the next challenge, hungry to succeed, and hungry for the next step in your journey. Whether it was through my earlier career as an architect looking for the next building to design, my time in sales and calling on hundreds of people before I just closed one deal, my time in construction and development, or to my now career in banking, I spread myself wide and took on every opportunity that I could. All those steps that led me to finding my purpose, Greek philanthropic and faith-based efforts focused on youth engagement. Once again, I had to start off small. At the beginning, it was me being able to provide opportunities for internships to Greek high school and college students, and also by me lending an ear to young kids in my community, trying to determine the next step in their journey as I had been. After building that foundation and learning from those experiences, it then became about sifting through resumes and interviewing graduates, sometimes from Ivy League universities even, looking for a last name ending in Poulos or Atos or Akis to hire at the bank. I was then able to take my mentorship and expand it nationally to reach more Greek young professionals through the Pan-Cretan Association of America and the mentorship program which we developed there. It is through amazing organizations like Philo for Thought, the Pan-Hellenic Scholarship Foundation, the National Hellenic Society, our Archdiocese Leadership 100 program with the amazing honoree. Congratulations again to Paulette Poulos. My brothers at the Archons of the Ecumenical Patriarchate, the True Defenders of the Faith, Ahi, Ahepa, Helk, and many others, where Greek philanthropic leaders come together to support our American youth. They practice, and this was not staged, and you know, Mike Manatos and I did not talk before this, but they all practice Philotimo. They all practice Philotimo, the Greek word that my friend Mike Manatos and his family Zohi Foundation know full well and use a lot. And what we Greeks are known for. Philotimo makes us stand out in every setting. Philotimo separates us from everyone else. That's why I believe it is important as leaders in the Greek community to use Philotimo to help support, guide, and connect with young professionals like many of you listening, to believe in you and to help you on your journey towards finding your purpose. This elevates our communities, our families, and all of us, so we can stand proud of your achievements. Whether it is through us helping you find your next internship or a job, engaging in dialogues around your interests and where your professional careers will lead, or expanding your professional networks and connecting you with prominent members of the Greek American community. It's our job to empower you. The individual, successful, entrepreneur Greek Americans we have in engineering, banking, medicine, law, businesses, and even the Ivy League universities are incredible. And we need to tap into those sources. But that's not all. A Harvard study of adult development has shown that people who fared the best were the people who had strong social connections and healthy relationships. In return, young professionals and entrepreneurs, it is your job to reach out, to engage with your community, and to put the effort in building the relationships with your peers and leaders. It is your job to use the resources you have access to and connect with mentors and leaders in your field. You have the capability to use us and other leaders in the Greek community as your mentors. You have the resources and ability to become the leaders of tomorrow. You have the power to grow from where we left off and create your own experiences to elevate your professional career. Socrates said it best: education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. By being hungry, seeking out and taking advantage all of the opportunities and maintaining relationships with strong mentors, the experiences you encounter accompanied with your education will fill the vessel. Together, as Greeks, we can do this, each of us playing our parts. We are the ones who rise by lifting others up with us, not pulling them down. We are the ones who have Philotimo in us. Thank you.
Mr. Manos, thank you again for joining us today. I think I can speak for everyone when I say that I really enjoyed hearing your valuable insights. Because we are pressed for time, we ask that any questions that you might have for Mr. Manos today be saved for after the scheduled panels. So we'll now conclude the keynote section and move forward with panel 2, which is women and leadership.
Thank you so much, John and Mike and Andi, for inspirational words, and for Mike actually shared the link, which I'm going to post shortly to the chat, okay, regarding the Orchidea Foundation and the philanthropic efforts of this initiative, which have been running for a very long time.